Welcome back to CEFCU Friday Night Rivals, presented by ABC News Channel 20. I'm Paul Wapple, along with Adam Anderson in Mount Zion tonight. The Braves, the home team, taking care of number 7 Taylorville as we start the fourth quarter, 25-0. And we'll let you know about some sports this weekend on our stations on Fox. Major League Baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Chicago Cubs. Cubs' magic number is 1 to clinch the home field throughout the playoffs. That's tomorrow at noon. And then college football, Oklahoma State and number 16 Baylor. And Saturday, that's tomorrow at 6:30. And Sunday at noon, the Lions and the Packers. And then on ABC, News Channel 20, Penn State and number 4 Michigan. Tomorrow at 2:30. And tomorrow at 7 o'clock, you'll see Mississippi State and University of Massachusetts at 2:30. And Saturday Night Rivals, Monticello and St. Joe Ogden. That's tomorrow night at 7. Louis Del Real and I will have the action for you right here on CW23.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one tonight or tomorrow night over in St. Joe, a big Okaw Valley Conference matchup.
So back to live action and down the sidelines on a big run on 2nd and 1 for Mount Zion. We got another injured player down the field at the 40 for Taylorville.
Looks like another cramp here.
Cramp, yeah. It was warm earlier tonight. Still a little warm, but you're going at it all night. Some of these guys playing on both sides and both sides of the ball, offense and defense, of course. And
usually
you're going to cramp up.
Usually
sometimes.
You don't worry about cramps after about week 2, but with the weather that we've been blessed with, that's what you see. And Peyton Chapel coming in and ripped off a big run there for Mount Zion and just put them deep here in Taylorville territory.
And that's another Brant Professional Agriculture first down. 11:51 to go in the fourth quarter. And and here's the season results for Taylorville as we take a look at them, what they've done. Been pretty convincing in their 4 victories. And tonight, of course, obviously a very, very stiff challenge here in Mount Zion. They're on the short end of the score right now, 25-0.
Yeah, and we hear, Salem played them tough. Salem is a ball-control team. They run the football. They try to keep it out of your hands as long as possible, and they played them tough. But the rest of their games have pretty much been blowouts. So they knew going into tonight that this was going to be a different game for them.
And you see Mount Zion, their lone loss, we talked about that, to Highland 28-21 in week 2. And they've been very convincing in their victories, the Braves have, so far. A lot of offense, 25, 28, 40, and 48 points, respectively.
Yeah, and going down to Highland, Highland's a good football program. They're always deep in the playoffs. They're one of those 4A, 5A schools that kind of borderline, and that's not an easy place to travel and win a football game.
So 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line for the Braves. Price going to throw. Left side, complete, and out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. There's a flag on the far sideline at the conclusion of the play, so see what that's all about.
I hope they're not calling a late hit. The Taylorville defender did hit him as he was going out, but he gave up, and he didn't follow through with the tackle, so
let's see what we've got.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike. Number 20 on Mount Zion.
Going against Mount Zion.
Repeat the down.
So unsportsmanlike conduct against Mount Zion. And you see the replay on the. There's the catch and. He shoved. Yeah. Okay. After the play.
So he took a little exception to the late hit. So can't do that at home, boys and girls.
Makes the reception and does that. So yep. So that will move the ball back to the 29, where it is, and you see some staff working on some of the one of the Tornado players.
Working the cramps out of the calves.
Yep. So brings up 2nd and 10. And Charles Cool was ready to go down the sidelines. And Taylorville was ready to stop him, but Charles Cool took off. He's had a good night.
Yeah, it's
ball.
a very good
Coachman, offense.
And want to remind you, everybody, that we will announce a player of the game at the conclusion of this game. We'll have that for you, as well as the SEFQ Champions Trophy for the winner of tonight's game.
Beautiful trophy. It will go to the winners. And in Apollo Conference score, Mattoon is up 27-0 over Charleston late in the fourth quarter. So,
number of blowouts tonight. Some lopsided scores, a lot of them. And Central State 8 or so, and other conferences as well.
I just saw that Glenwood has scored again to make that one 28-0 late in the fourth. So I would assume that the Titans are going to beat the Senators tonight.
So the Braves, I would think, will just try to run some clock as best they can here in the fourth.
Yeah, no need to be in a hurry. They've got the lead. They're in the driver's seat at this point. Taylorville's had a tough time on offense tonight. And credit the Mount Zion defense. We didn't talk a whole lot about them coming into tonight, but they've played very, very tough.
Third and 20. As Price looks to the sideline. Has the play. Avoids the defender. Can't avoid the second one. Number 45 got him that time for Taylorville. A nice play there.
Yeah, Tristan Lecter with the sack. And it first started with number 4, Parker Stokes. Just came in untouched at the snap of the football, and that threw Price out of the pocket and just tracked down by Lecter there from behind.
See the replay there. So, fourth down and long. And Mount Zion is in punt formation. High punt, pretty good kick. And out of bounds at the 10, 11, let's see where they mark it.
Maybe the 11-yard line.
Maybe close to the 15. Okay, about the.
Oh, he walks back.
15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15. All right. So 1st and 10, Taylorville. In case you joined us late, Brandon Odom, the sophomore starting quarterback for Taylorville, went out with an apparent knee injury. He was obviously injured, has not returned. We don't expect him to return tonight. So in his absence, Parker Stokes has come in at quarterback here in the second half and trying to get something positive, something good going for the Taylorville offense.
You know, and if you think about it here in this second half, the only score we've gotten is when Taylorville decided to go for it on 4th down.
Stokes throws it, and who else other than Charles Cool is there? Can't quite hang on, but almost had another INT.
Yeah, and almost the exact same play that he had before. But like I was saying, Taylorville decides to go for it inside their own 20. It doesn't happen. 2 plays later, Brandon Price runs in for a touchdown. So that's really Taylorville's defense played well here in the second half. Just haven't been able to do anything on offense.
So 2nd and 10 from the 15, and Friday Night Rivals is available streaming live online. Log on to CW23TV.com and click on the Friday Night Rivals link. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's games. And there's a big run up the middle. Parker Stokes still on his feet. Out to the 35, 40, 45. Crosses midfield, still on his feet. Finally brought down at about the 35-yard line. So a big run there.
That's
for
what
Parker Stokes.
They need it. Hopefully it's not too little too late for this Taylorville offense. They've got to get on the ball and get moving, but that'll definitely change a little bit momentum. They've got some key blocks on the outside and fought off some tackles, and great job by Stokes.
And that is another Brant Professional Agriculture first down for the Tornadoes, and with 9:36 to go, clock continues to run here in Mount Zion. And a whistle from the officials and timeout. Mount Zion. And we will take a short time out as well. You're watching SEPQ Friday Night Rivals presented by ABC News Channel 20 on CW23. Stay with us. More action when we return. Welcome back to SEPQ Friday Night Rivals presented by ABC News Channel 20. Paul Wapple and Adam Anderson in Mount Zion for Friday Night Rivals. Fourth quarter action. Taylorville trails 25-0 against Mount Zion. Tornadoes entered the game with a 4-0 record, and Mount Zion came in 3-1. First down for Parker Stokes and Tornadoes. Stokes is going to keep it himself, and the Mount Zion defense with the stuff right there. 9:15 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, nothing doing right there. Had a heavy blitz coming on from the Mount Zion Brave defense. And if it was an option play, I think he made the right call with keeping it, but did everything he could just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Brings up second down. Stokes looks left, fakes. Gonna run now. Nope, gonna throw. Does throw. Complete. And down to the 25-yard line. Complete to Ben Tapscott, the senior, 6'1", 175-pound receiver.
Yeah.
Or fullback, check that.
First time we've called his name tonight. He just leaked out. Looks like it was a double move, a slant and go there on the outside. And Mount Zion didn't fall for it, but Tapscott kind of leaked out and found an opening.
Good for another Brant Professional Agriculture first down. Stokes with the handoff to Champley, left side, who finds a hole, and he's around the left side and is brought down out of bounds inside, and he is inside the Shields red zone.
Yeah,
so Evan Champley
just had one man to beat, and he couldn't beat him there to the corner, but tough sledding for Champley tonight. He hasn't had a whole lot of room to do much, so a good run right there to get Taylorville closer than they ever have.
And that is a flag on the play, but that previous play was good for another Brant Professional Agriculture first down. So 8:30 to go, and
again, right after a big play, Taylorville wants to get on the ball and go quickly, and again with another penalty. That's been kind of the story of the night for the Taylorville Tornadoes.
And we'd like to thank SEPQ for sponsoring Friday Night Rivals this season. SEPQ, not a bank, better. We appreciate SEPQ's support this season, along with ABC News Channel 20. All right, Stokes going to keep it himself, up the middle. Stopped after a short gain there.
Yeah, maybe two on the play.
And let's go down to Jacqueline Driscoll, who has more on the sidelines. Jacqueline?
Hey, Paul and Adam, we just had a really nice run we saw there from Champley. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a whole lot from him tonight. Now, Coach Etherton, he was planning for this. He knew that this was their go-to guy, and he knew that they wanted to run the ball, and he's done a really great job coaching up this defense to stop that run, so we'll see what Taylorville can do more now that they get closer here to this end zone. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Justin Wright with the run for the Taylorville Tornadoes. So it is 3rd and goal for Taylorville from the 3.
Yeah.
7:30 to go.
Time is their enemy right now, too, other than this Mount Zion defense. But they need to be sure on this call of what they're doing.
Parker Stokes, empty backfield. Shotgun. Stokes with the handoff to Jagger Moore, right side, and no such luck for the Tornadoes there. Mount Zion read the play well.
Yeah, Charles Cool again with the tackle in the backfield. You got to have a big block on the edge there for the Tornado wide receiver, and Cool just read the play at the start, and it looks like Moore almost actually lost the handoff.
So brings up 4th and goal for the Tornadoes from the Mount Zion 7. 6:37 to go in the game. And you know the Tornadoes just want to get something positive for heading into next week's game.
Yeah, and if you don't get in here,
and a whistle and a timeout for the Tornadoes.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Odom wants to talk about it a little bit more. They were kind of hurrying out there to get the playoffs, so a good timeout by the Tornadoes.
All right, we'll take a short timeout as well. You're watching CEFCU Friday Night Rivals, presented by ABC News Channel 20 on CW 23. Back with more from Mount Zion in just a minute. Welcome back to CEFCU Friday Night Rivals, presented by ABC News Channel 20. 6:22 to go in the fourth quarter. Mount Zion all over Taylorville, 25-0. It is fourth down and goal from the 7 for the Tornadoes, trying to get on the scoreboard here in the fourth. Stokes, high snap, pitches it to Jagger Moore, right side, who sees the end zone but is not going to make it there. And Mount Zion stops him on fourth and goal. There will be no touchdown on this drive for the Tornadoes.
Nate Ewing there at the tackle, and great job by the Mount Zion defense. You know, we didn't talk a lot about them, and they've, up to this point, pitched a shutout against a very, very good Taylorville defense.
So Mount Zion will take over on downs with 6:15 to go, and ball control, no doubt, just be you would think would be the rest of the game for the Braves. They're on the 3-yard line. And I want to let you know that on Monday, October 26th, watch the Supergirl season premiere at 7 p.m. right here on CW 23, October 26th. So Brandon Price from his own end zone on first down. He's going to keep it himself, and he finds some room out to about the 9. Pickup of about 6.
Yeah, just need a first down or two and run some clock and get out of here with the shutout victory against a very good Taylorville team. And I don't think a lot of us expected this here tonight.
No, Mount Zion was convincing in its wins this season so far, and we did mention that, and they just have had a good night here. So 2nd and 4. Price going to keep it himself again. Taylorville says they have the ball. No signal from the officials. Couldn't tell if the ball popped loose. Let's see if. I don't think it did.
They're calling it. Yeah, they're calling it third down. So
yeah, eating anything they can. The Tornadoes trying to get something. So 5:09, 5:08 to go in the game. You see Price, who's had a real good night.
It was pretty close there on the replay. Again, we get the luxury of being able to look at it twice, but his knee might have been down on that call.
3rd and 5 from the 8. Price back to throw, and it is caught. And it's good to DJ Johns for the first down. That is a Brant Professional Agriculture first down, and 4:36 to go in the game. Ball on the 19. Price takes his time, gets the play from the sidelines. This time he's going to keep it and go on the left side. Now he cuts back. Now he cuts back the other way.
Price on the keeper.
Yeah, just want to be careful.
And did I see a
late
flag? I think it was a late.
I think it was a late hit too. Yeah.
I think it'll be on Taylorville. Adam, looking ahead to next week, week 6. So we talked about. We saw the schedule earlier.
Okay, we have a dead ball. Personal foul. Taylorville, 15 yards. Resolve the play. First down.
and that is a Brant Professional Agriculture first down for Mount Zion. But next week, Taylorville goes to Effingham. And you see the replay there. And a lot of good matchups again next week.
Yeah, the big one is going to be in Athens with Maroa Forsyth against Athens won tonight against Pittsfield, and as did Maroa. So Athens undefeated, and if the Auburn North Mac score, Athens is now your leader in the Sangamo Conference at 5-0.
And Mount Zion will go to Charleston next week. So there's on the left side, Price does it again. Done a good job again of controlling and running the offense tonight for the home team.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. We've heard about him. I got to watch a little bit of him from previous weeks, and you could tell he was a special player. And he's had a good game here tonight against this very, very tough Taylorville defense.
3:30 to go, fourth quarter. Second down and 8 from the 34 for the Braves, and not a whole lot of enthusiasm on the
I think there's
Taylorville
a lot of
crowd, but
it's
understandably
a stunned silence from the Taylorville crowd.
Price with a handoff. Garrett May with the run.
Well, folks, I just got an update from actually Mount Zion basketball coach Graven. North Mac goes for 2 and converts. So North Mac is up 15-14 on Auburn with 24 seconds left in the game. Shout out to Coach Graven. Thank you for the update. And that's
Sangamo Conference is tough. It is tough.
And North Mac just fighting from the ashes. Not a lot of people gave him credit. I think they didn't know how to respond with coming in as a favorite, and then he didn't play so well in the opening weeks, and were the underdog against a great Williamsville team. And I think a lot of people still thought they were the underdogs against Auburn, and it looks like they might pull out a tight one again.
There's a handoff to number 7, Peyton Chappell. And Adam, we don't know the outcome. It's not a final yet, correct?
Yeah, not a final yet.
But Auburn entering the game, I have to tell you, I believe is one of the best 2-2 teams in the area.
Yeah, and folks, you may remember at one point last year, Auburn was 1-3 and made it to Thanksgiving
state
weekend.
Championship game.
It's a state championship program. The Sangamo Conference gets you ready to play in the playoffs. So as long as Auburn gets to 5 wins, that's a team I wouldn't want to face late in the year.
1:54 to go. First down and 10. Another Brant Professional Agriculture first down. And nice run there again for Peyton Chappell. Up the middle. Gets across midfield. Probably just a couple more plays for the Braves. And again, I thought this would be a much closer game, and didn't necessarily think that Taylorville would win, but certainly one they could very easily win, especially entering 4-0. But the turnovers hurt them, the penalties hurt them. Lose their quarterback in the second quarter. Not a good combination for the Tornadoes.
No, not at all. Losing Odom too, it hurts because they didn't plan on putting Parker Stokes in there. He's came in, he's done admirable. But a lot of big plays and then a penalty or a fumble or an interception. Ball just hasn't went their way tonight.
And that play is good for another Brant Professional Agriculture first down. And again, we will be naming a player of the game in just a little bit. It will be our Midwest Rehab player of the game. And Jacqueline Driscoll, our sideline reporter tonight, will help us. She will talk to the player of the game, and we'll have the presentation of the CEFCU Champions Trophy at the conclusion of this one. So Price takes a knee with 30 seconds to go and leading 25-0.
What a week for Coach Etherton. You have a new member of your family. Quick shout out to William Barry Etherton. Hope he's doing well tonight. I know he got to go home today, so hopefully he enjoyed this big Mount Zion win by Dad tonight.
Congratulations to the Etherton family, and a big win tonight for Mount Zion as they upset Taylorville, the 7th-ranked team in 4A, 25-0 the final from here in Mount Zion. And we'll take a short break. Back with the post-game show after this. You're watching CEFCU Friday Night Rivals, presented by ABC News Channel 20. Welcome back to CEFCU Friday Night Rivals, presented by ABC News Channel 20. I'm Paul Wapple, along with Adam Anderson. We just concluded here in Mount Zion, where the Braves upset the number 7th-ranked team in 4A, the Taylorville Tornadoes, by a score of 25-0. And it was a good night for the Mount Zion Braves on a beautiful night for high school football. Right now, we're going to send down to Jacqueline Driscoll with our player of the game, brought to you by Midwest Rehab. Jacqueline?
Hey, Paul and Adam, I'm down here in the winner's circle with Mount Zion. Over here, we got our player of the game, Charles Kuhl. Excellent player. You had some awesome stats tonight. One in particular, that pick six. Tell me how that felt to get that early in the game.
It was a big game changer. We definitely we came out with a great start, and then Peyton got a pick after that, and then we went up by 2 touchdowns, and that was we went out. Stop.
All right, great, Jez. So you also had another touchdown. So you got 2 touchdowns on both sides of the ball. Excellent play here. But speak to your teammates about your teammates. It really was a collaborative effort. So what can you say about that?
We accomplished everything we wanted to tonight. It's just another game we wanted to win. We're going one by one, and we're getting better every week.
All right, perfect. Now I'm going to head on over here to Coach. So state-ranked Taylorville, you knocked them off, and you're coming at last season. They beat you guys twice, so now I think you really sent a message. How does it feel?
It feels good. Our kids played well. We executed. We went 1-0 this week. We really look at who we're, each week we don't look at who we're playing. We adjust, and our kids did a great job, made plays, and, our defensive coaches did an unbelievable job, as well as our defensive kids to get a shutout. And you get a shutout against a state-ranked team, that says something. And, our kids are excited, and they should be. I mean, this is a big game, and a team that beat us twice last year. So I'm glad to see it, and I'm glad to see our guys play well, and looking for the rest of the season.
And a great first year for you, and an excellent week for you. Heard you welcomed a new family member, so congratulations.
I did. Thank you.
All right, and we've got some important hardware right here. So, Mr. Kuhl, here is your player of the game. And the most important, our CEFCU Champions Trophy right here. There you go. Congrats, guys.
All right.